Hi, hello, and welcome to the latest Walking Reviews. Before we get started, look at my notes. I got notes. Took a lot of notes. I rarely highlight, but there's a lot of fun fact. I can't do the clicker to get her attention. Come on. Sorry. So, I finished Area 51 by Annie Jacobsen. And my book, I read it on a e-reader. 38% of it was sources and stuff. Come on. Interruption. Come on. So, 72% of the book was the actual book. Here we go! 38% was references and sources. It took me 19 days to read it. It was 549 pages, according to my Storygraph copy information. And it came out in 2011. And it killed 35% of my battery on my Kobo. So, off the top of my head, what did I take away from this book? Well, lots of stuff happened like right after World War II, which is, I mean, we're still using some of this stuff today. So it's crazy. It's interesting how much science they did back then. Sorry, this girl's driving me nuts. Lots of airplanes were developed there. They started off the book with like, oh, by the way, we found a flying saucer in Roswell. We don't know where it came from. We think Russia, but maybe space. And it could levitate and go fast. And that's it. Figure out how they made it. And they kind of just left it at that. So that was cool. They developed a lot of nuclear weapons there. They developed a lot of airplanes there, which we're still using today. The U-2. They developed the F-117 Nighthawk, the stealth fighter bomber. Actually, I saw one of those flying when I was at Vandenberg Air Force Base, believe it or not. That was in 2001. Yeah, you just hear and then you look up and you see this little black triangle hauling behind. Yeah, the SR-71 was developed there, the fastest airplane ever made, ever. The coolest airplane. Never got to see that one. Retired before my time. But yeah. Mach 3. It's like 2,000 miles an hour. It's incredible. Predator drones. They started doing drones like back in the 60s. I was not aware of that. But yeah, the Predator drone came out of a CIA project at Area 51. And now the Air Force. I have seen one of those too. You see it at when I was on night shift in Kuwait. You see the little red light blinking in the dark, and then when it got close enough, you hear it. It sounds like a lawnmower engine. But yeah, those are pretty cool. Where was I? Let's do our notes. The fusion bombs were developed there. That's a nuclear bomb that detonates the stronger nuclear bomb, which I think the biggest one we did was like 4 megatons. Russia did one that was 50 megatons, the Tsar Bomba, and that thing is incredible. And even they were like, all right, let's dial it back a little bit. But yeah, some of the nuclear tests, they were worried that the atmosphere would catch on fire, which is wild to think, and then do it anyway. So I'm just doing stream of consciousness review at this point. I really enjoyed the book. I really did. I don't know if I said 5 stars, but 5 stars. Joseph Mengele, the Angel of Death, Auschwitz doctor, they think he was working for Stalin. And they think that he was doing his experiments on the kids that they found in the hovercraft that they thought were aliens, but then they think they're just kids. MK Ultra was developed there. They don't go into it any more than just MK Ultra was developed there, which is insane. I always thought that was just made up, right? What else? Top Gun came from Area 51. There's I want to say Russian defector or Soviet defector, but he stole the MiG-23. He got swept up in a honeypot by Israel, ended up defecting over to them, and he brought him that jet, and then they gave it to us, and then we figured out how to copy it, I guess, reverse engineer it, how to fight against it. So that's pretty cool. What else? Howard Hughes had something to do with Area 51. They didn't say what. Be interesting to know what. The bunker buster was developed at, there. They were working on a nuclear one, but actually a cool story in Kuwait at Ali Al Salim Air Force Base. During the Desert Storm, the Kuwaitis had these hardened aircraft hangars. They're called bunkers. Anyway, this French company said, there's nothing that can get through these bunkers. Nothing's ever going to get through them. That was their sales pitch. And then guess who came along? America showed up. But yeah, it's wild. They use some of the bunkers for flight line offices and shops and stuff. But yeah, it's wild seeing it, and you're not allowed to take pictures. They said lots of stories. They said they're still being sued by, they're still suing France. And France was like, look, we didn't know what y'all were up to out there in the desert. But yeah, there's lots of like Area 51-ish places. There's Area 52. Well, I learned about lots of, nuclear explosions. I guess we did a lot. Like maybe too many. I didn't really put any technical notes. I didn't, I didn't put any dates or years or anything. And that's probably my only gripe, because the years, it seems like they jump all over the place in the book. It's hard to keep up. I'm going to see my notes. Some more. The Russians, sent Sputnik up first. So then we had to figure out how to do it ourselves, and we did it. And the space race is in there, and they were trying to experiment on different types of rocket boosters. They even had they wanted to do a nuclear powered rocket booster, which is glad they didn't do that. And come on. Whoa. Space. What else is in space? They're talking about putting weapons in space. China was the first country to send up a missile and blow up their own satellite, which they didn't think was possible. So there was another little space race there. Yeah, I'm sure as soon as I press pause or stop, I'll think of more stuff. But thank you for listening this long. I love the book. This is my second Annie Jacobsen. The Nuclear War was such a good book, and this book was just as good. Did I say I've seen the U2? I don't know if I brought that up, but the U2, I saw that flying when I was in the UAE. They take off every morning. I don't want to say what time. They're probably listening. But yeah, every morning they take off. You hear it for 15 minutes, hauling behind up to space. And they fly for 12 hours or whatever. But when they would come back, you'd see the pilot, you see it land, and they got these, I want to say Camaro Super Sports SS's to be the chase car. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, they put the training wheels on the side so it can land. They shut down the whole thing, And you gotta wait for him to go park, and then the pilot gets out in a, in a spacesuit. And they got a big van and a lazy boy waiting for him. It's pretty cool. I saw... It's like they call it the Dorito. And I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about any of this, but I bet you it's all on the internet. But yeah, I saw this little thing called the Dorito. It looks like a B-2 bomber, except it's like the size of an RV. I bet that came from Area 51. I think I told all my applicable stories. Strategic Air Command comes up a lot. General LeMay, he's a big deal in the Air Force. Hap Arnold's a big deal in the Air Force. Okay. Those guys came up. Come on. Come on. Those guys came up. Strategic Air Command came up. That was probably 10 years before my time. I know my boss, my first boss ever, he worked on the Minuteman II under SAC. That's what they called it. Different times, let me tell you. I came in at a good time. Came in at a good time, and I left at a good time. But we won't get into that for real. Because they got in a lot of trouble out there. You know what? We won't get into it. Why not? Right before I got out, right after I got out, I changed jobs. They were rolling over tractor trailers. They were like getting accidents in their payload transporters. They were losing parts. And this is all on Wikipedia, by the way, or on the internet. They were losing or shipping parts that were supposed to go to like Barksdale over to Taiwan. Nuclear parts. They were supposed to be sent to Taiwan. What was the big one? Oh, they left an airplane unguarded all night. I think it was in Minot. All night. In like half the day with a nuclear weapon in the back of the B-52. And it finally took a security forces guy to be like, hey, what's on that plane? What's going on in there? They fired everybody. Come on. They fired everybody. And then the next scandal was a bunch of officers got in trouble for cheating on their codes test, which I took the codes test every month. We didn't cheat. But yeah, we didn't cheat. Officers got caught cheating at the time. And that's it for real. Thank you for listening, if you're still listening. If you have not ever heard the SR-71 speed check story, go listen to that right now. Okay, bye for real.